My intention to share this is to really inspire, bring some clarity, and create any shifts within you that you can feel leaving more confident and, yeah, more aligned in your next steps from moving from doubt to devotion. And these next 50 minutes now will be centered on the framework of how this journey can really look like when we, yeah, unravel the layers from doubt and stepping into our most aligned, authentic. So to get started, let's just take a grounding moment together. So wherever you are, let's take a seat. So you can cross your legs or plant your feet firmly on the ground. And let's just take a few moments to ground here together. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Maybe rest your hands on your knees. If it feels supportive for you, you can place one hand over your heart and the other on your belly. And begin to drop into the space. Just allowing ourselves to be present, letting go of whatever happened a few minutes before this moment here. Any nerves or expectation of what's to come. Just dropping into being in this sacred space together. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out. Another deep inhale, filling up your lungs with air. Open mouth exhale. He's softening, letting go of any nerves. And one final breath in together. Let's hold the breath at the top. Maybe take another sip of air. Let it go. And taking your time, you can gently open your eyes. Maybe notice more presence and calm just by taking a few deep breaths together here. This space is for you to really practice compassion and stay open and curious as we journey through this workshop together. Let's go ahead and get started. So today's workshop flow, we'll start with an introduction, welcome, and then we'll dive into the three-part framework. So this is the three-part framework that I guide my clients in my current coaching container. And I'm really excited to share this all with you because you're all here. You'll get insight into what that looks like and feels like. And then we'll close and wrap up our time together. Get started. So hello, my name is Bianca. I know some of you already know me personally, but a quick little intro about me. I'm a yoga teacher, mindset, embodiment, and an alignment coach. I'm also a meditation guide and a student of life. I really believe in learning every single day. Even though I hold the role as a teacher, I also love to learn. I'm SoCal born and raised, so spent a lot of time at the beach growing up under the sunshine. I graduated from University of the Pacific with a business degree in management and human resources. So that started my career in software sales. So I was working in corporate for a few years, and around that time, I started to teach yoga. But backtrack to that, amidst burnout, constant states of stress and anxiety, also a breakup, and just feeling like I was craving this connection back to myself, that was the moment that yoga also found me. And this practice became more than just a yoga class. It became a devotion of self-care, of self-connection, and eventually led me to my own self-discovery journey. And I became very passionate in sharing this gift and medicine with others, in helping them embrace their authentic selves and being rooted in self-love, embodiment, and soul alignment. So I completed my first 200-hour teacher training in California, and recently I completed my 500-hour teacher training in Bali. So I've been living in this beautiful, beautiful island for the past 6 months now, and I'm very grateful to be absorbing all the teachings and the wisdom that this land holds and implementing it in my practices, and also in the way that I share different tools with others too, that I am so fortunate to guide others on their path, on their unique path. So I love to create spaces where you feel seen, heard, supported, and connected in the unfolding of becoming your most authentic selves, because I truly believe that when we unlearn all the limiting beliefs, conditioned patterns, we can come back home to what we are meant to embody, which is our own unique truth in this lifetime. So that's a little bit about me. So the journey from doubt to devotion. Yes, we all carry doubt, fears, stories of not being good enough, smart enough, ready enough, you name it. And, we're all human. I still have those moments too. But what's changed for me is how I respond to them, how I relate to them by using the tools and practices that I've studied, learned, and integrated over the years. And now it's my deepest devotion and honor to share these practices with you all and to meet you where you're at. And this devotion that we'll talk about further in this workshop is what leads to greater transformation from the inside out. This three-part framework, it's here to support the shift that we create within ourselves. And it's a beautiful, rewarding journey. It takes inner work, but just like any muscle that you work out, right? Like at the gym or in a yoga class, it takes that consistency and devotion to build that inner trust muscle. And so it all starts with the mindset. Awareness is the first step, really taking a step back. And there's beauty in the pause of catching the stories in your mind and the beliefs that are keeping you stuck, to question your own beliefs and fears that are holding you back. For example, a belief like, I am not creative, or I am not ready. So becoming aware of where that thought even came from already gives and brings us back the power to make the choice. So choosing to shift from that limiting belief to one that serves your highest self. So a journal prompt for you to reflect on right now, as you have your journal and pen and paper in hand, is, what story will I rewrite right now? Maybe it's, I'm not confident, or I'm not ready to start waking up earlier every day. And how can you rewrite that into something that supports your highest self? I am confident, or I choose to start waking up at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow. Or shifting from, I'm not creative, to, I am a creative being. And Eckhart Tolle, he's an author and a speaker. You might have heard of the book, The Power of Now, but he speaks and teaches a lot about the present moment. And a lot of our suffering, a lot of our fears and doubts come from projections of the past or projections of the future. When you really become aware of that all of our fears can come from past experiences, or, childhood memories of maybe a time that a classmate told you that your artwork was horrible, that can leave an imprint and affect us in this present moment. But when we become aware of that story and where it originated from, we take back our power in rewriting that new narrative. We no longer place our fears of the future of what if I fail? What if I mess up into what if I actually just become present? What if I become confident? What if the best thing happens for me? And it's as simple as that, is rewriting that narrative in our mind. So that's why the mind is a powerful tool, and awareness is also becoming aware of the present moment. And Eckhart Tolle, he has this beautiful quote. It says, "The present moment is all we ever have, and the quality of our awareness now is the determinant of our quality of life." Embodiment. So we identified the limiting belief or the doubt, we became aware, starting in the mind. And then we shift from the mind into the body. And embodiment, it really means feeling into the sensations, feeling into the emotions of how we want to feel, of how we want to cultivate that trust, devotion within ourselves. And embodiment is connected to somatic work, somatic healing. And you might have heard of that term thrown around a lot, especially in the wellness space. But the term somatic comes from the Greek root soma, meaning body. And embodiment is a felt experience, right? There's only so much that we can try to understand and conceptualize. Yes, it's important to become aware. But the moment we try to overanalyze, that's just draining our energy. We want to drop into the body, dropping into the heart. And like I said earlier, just like any muscle you train or exercise, it's really building that inner trust from the inside out. So leaving imprints into our body. So any moment we step into a new situation, let's say like presenting in front of a class where you used to feel so nervous, your palms would get sweaty. Like I'm just speaking from my own experience. I remember like I would feel so nervous in class presenting, like I would literally start sweating and my heart would beat. But now, because I've implemented embodiment tools, like right now as I'm speaking, I'm just in a more calm state because I know how to connect to my body in the present moment, how to respond rather than react, how to breathe and not judge myself, right? And there's beautiful healing in that when we practice. So, emotions literally means energy in motion. And when we resist them, they get stuck. They get stuck in our body. They can manifest into feeling that tightness in the chest, right? Or maybe feeling, yeah, like your palms sweaty. It's just your emotions wanting to be released. So when we allow them to be expressed, they move through us, allowing us to move on in our lives, move on in our day to day with greater ease, kind of like a feeling of a breath of fresh air and exhale. This quote by Dr. Gabor Mate, I might have pronounced that wrong, is "It's not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling." So I love this quote because it's not about forcing yourself to get rid of an emotion or feel better, feel happier right now, but it's about allowing whatever emotion arises to be felt and to practice self compassion with that. So, something that I've been practicing more lately is tuning into how I'm feeling in the present moment by breathing into the emotion, by allowing myself to go on a walk rather than trying to make sense of how I'm feeling. And maybe you resonate with this. The more you resist an emotion, it persists, right? What you resist persists. So, right now, I'd love to take some time to practice one of my favorite go to embodiment practices. And it really incorporates three components of conscious breath, felt touch, and emotional awareness. I'll guide you in this embodiment practice that you can take with you after this workshop. Anytime you feel an emotion become loud, or you simply need a moment to just reconnect to your center. So, closing your eyes, start to feel your breath here. And place one hand over your heart and the other on your belly. When we have this hand to heart, hand to body, this sense of touch, it's communicating with our bodies that we are safe, we are grounded, we are present with whatever is arising within us. And we have the capacity to hold ourselves here. And take a deep inhale from the belly. Let it rise into the chest, your heart space. Then sigh it out from the chest and belly. We'll do two more like that. Inhale, chest. Inhale, belly. Chest. Exhale, chest. Belly. One more time. Inhaling. Breathing into the heart. Exhaling out. Now I want you to tune into how you're feeling right now. And before you jump into the story or the narrative of why you're feeling tired or why you're feeling calm, I want you to just simply name the emotion without any judgment. Like, I'm feeling peaceful or hungry. Once you've named your emotion, it's okay to guess here too. Identify where this emotion is being expressed in your body. And feel into the sensation of where it's expressing. Is it in your chest? Maybe your throat? And just breathe into the area in your body where your emotion is simply moving. How often do we allow ourselves the space and stillness to just sit and be present with our emotions instead of throwing a blanket over it or pushing it away? I invite you to welcome whatever is arising within you. And as you breathe into this area of your body, perhaps you notice the sensation of a feeling of lightness, softness, or maybe even a wave of gentleness, easing. And for these next few moments, allow yourself to let go of any judgment, thoughts around the emotion, and simply feel. Because when we get better at feeling, we open ourselves up to greater equanimity towards our emotions rather than being controlled or overtaken by them. Reminding ourselves that we are not our emotions. They are simply energy being expressed through our bodies. Now, wherever your focus is placed on your body, let's breathe deep into the area and sigh it out. Softly letting go of any technique now. Just tuning into your breath. Just feeling the echoes. This final breath we take together, I want you to visualize breathing into the heart space. And as you exhale, sending whatever emotion you had out, up through the crown of your head. Like you're allowing your emotion to really flow out through you. So take a deep breath into the heart space. As you exhale, releasing the emotion out and above through the crown of your head into the space. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, feeling into this present moment. So, this present intentional practice is a embodiment practice to not only ease our nervous system into moving into a more rest and digest state, but also a way to nurture our body's responses to our emotions in our day to day. So, this is a beautiful embodiment practice that you can carry with you if it landed for you. Um, at any time of your day, there are so many moments throughout my day where I just take 5 minutes to practice conscious breath, place a hand on my heart and my belly for that felt touch, and just becoming aware of whatever is arising within me without any judgment. And yeah, I'd love to hear how you're feeling right now. You can drop it in the chat after that practice. Lighter. And there's no right or wrong, right? It's just about connecting to our bodies. Beautiful, more control over my mindset. All right. And once we've completed our embodiment practice, we move into alignment. So, to recap, this 3 part framework is a journey, a process of shifting from a limiting beliefs like doubt or fear or a narrative that's holding you back. And when we move through this process of mindset, embodiment, and alignment, we can really step into becoming the aligned, authentic version of ourselves. And alignment is another important part to claiming that for yourself and reflecting your actions based on trust and devotion to yourself. So I like to reframe words. So instead of routine, because that can sound maybe really strict or harsh for you or discipline, I like to see this as sacred structure and this sense of devotion, right? So it's coming back to what feels supportive for you, what feels like you are genuinely excited to get up in the morning to do because you care about yourself, you care about your own well being. And mindset and embodiment transform into this aligned action. So it's about designing daily rituals and habits that support the version of you that you're becoming. And remember, it all comes back to mindset. You have the power to choose at any moment. You decide to, yes, I'm going to start journaling after I have my cup of coffee. I'm just throwing out examples here. I will breathe before I have a tough conversation with my partner or a family member. And you might have heard of habit stacking. It's a concept by James Clear. He wrote the book Atomic Habits. Very good book. I always come back to that because it really simplifies um, the way that us humans like to create habits in a way that feels most obvious, effective, and consistent for us. So, habit stacking is about pairing a habit that you want to implement, like journaling, for example, with something that you're already doing, like brushing your teeth, right? So, I will journal after I brush my teeth. I will get some sunlight right after I get out of bed. So, yeah, it's all about making it as easy, accessible, but also in a way that you're devoted to this greater why. And alignment is rooted in self-trust and following through with the actions that you are guided by your inner, yeah, your inner calling. And, the law of manifestation, one of the laws of manifestation is action. You are literally telling and proving to the universe or to yourself that you are committed to the daily rituals, daily routines that you're embodying and aligning yourself to. So, in your journal, I would love for you to write down what is a daily ritual that you can align yourself to. Maybe it's something that you've been thinking about of wanting to do. Give yourself the permission right now to create that ritual for yourself and have fun with it. You can make it as creative or as blunt as you need it to be. And as you're writing this down, I'm writing with you, it's like creating this like sacred contract with yourself, like this sacred structure, this devotion of coming from a place of trust and devotion rather than force, but really tuning into, yeah, how you really want to embody this highest self of yours. So take a moment to write down what ritual you're creating. And feel free to share it in the chat if you feel called. Beautiful. And so that is the end process of this three-part framework of mindset, embodiment, and alignment. And it's a constant practice, a constant integration. And, sometimes it can happen in an instant, like becoming aware and then coming back into the body and then aligning your actions with what reflects that new belief, that new felt experience that you want to create for yourself. And I love this quote. It's by Marianne Williams. It's our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Well, you are. um, so, yeah, this quote holds so much meaning in getting curious about our fears and when we take the time and intention to become curious about our doubts and fears, we take back our power in deciding and choosing that we are already whole. We already have the power within ourselves to create the reality we want that's most in tune with our highest selves. And it all comes from mindset, embodiment, putting that practice into our felt experience, and alignment, applying those tools and practices into action, into our daily lives. And another thing I wanted to add about alignment is, it's expressing your devotion to yourself and taking action, even in the smallest intentional ways. It's, every small change is building to a greater change that you might not see it right now, but every little thing that we do is amplifying that transformation that we're already creating within, and your internal reality reflects your external world. And yeah, so one last reflection is I would love for you to create your own devotion for yourself. It can be a statement or a few sentences. Um, Something that I learned in my recent yoga teacher training is the act of consecration. So it's all about, maybe before you go into work or you go into a new opportunity or a new job, or it could be simple as going into your workout or a yoga practice, consecrating that whatever it is that's before you, and coming back to your why, devoting it to maybe your lineage, your ancestors, God, whatever you believe in, something beyond yourself. Um, for example, my devotion is for anyone who I get to cross paths with, is being devoted to helping others feel seen, heard, and understood. And even if it's the slightest shift, that is my, greatest devotion. And um, releasing the expectation, releasing the fears, because my why is greater than that. So I want you to take a few moments to come back to or reflect on your why. It can be as simple as being devoted to universe, whatever you believe in, to being devoted to your family, to your younger self. What are your deepest devotions? Feel free to share it in the chat as well as the final share. And if you want extra time, always feel free to come back to your journal and really, yeah, take the time to write your own consecration, write your own devotion statement, because this is what brings us back to center. Whenever the fears or doubts creep in, your sense of devotion is greater than that. Being my own source of of happiness. I love that. Devotion to growth, pouring from my cup to others. Beautiful. Right? It's like letting go of the personal, letting go of the ego, letting, and that's where it comes from. Like all the doubts, fears, it's the ego trying to protect us, trying to keep us safe and small. But when we go beyond that, when we remember that we are greater than those fears, we are greater than the ego's narratives and limiting beliefs, and we remember our devotion, our testament to ourselves, that will just continue to soften, ground us with whatever challenge or situation that can be triggering, to say the least, with greater ease and trust. So I'll leave you with that. And as for wrapping up, I just want to say thank you so, so much for being here. And it really fills my cup to be present with you all here. And I hope you got to take away some mindset shifts, embodiment practices, and even alignment rituals that you can integrate into your own life after this workshop. And I would love to hear any takeaways that you've had. Um, you can message me or even leave it in the chat. And this is extra special. This was the first live workshop um, that we shared together. So I would love to hear any feedback you have. And this definitely won't be the last one. But because you all arrived for the first workshop, I do want to say that because you are here and present, I am gifting 111 off the entire program that I am currently holding right now. It's my embodied alignment coaching. So because you all are here, you'll have 24 hours to book a free clarity call with me. And that's just a call to see if this is the, right fit for you. If, you feel like this workshop is really speaking to you and the framework that I shared, this is the exact framework that I guide my clients on personally over 12 weeks. So it allows the opportunity for lasting shifts to unfold and really taking the time with each phase, because as you experience through this workshop, there's a lot of layers that can go with each part. And yeah, so it's wonderful. I'm working with two people right now, and I can already feel the shifts that are unfolding just by putting into practice of the framework that we dove into today. So it would be my deepest honor to guide you if you feel called. Regardless, you'll have a free clarity call, and if this coaching program resonates with you, you'll receive 111 off the entire program. But if we're not already connected, connect with me on Instagram. I also have a newsletter that I send emails every week for continuous insights and inspiration, all about embodiment, mindset shifts, and alignment rituals. So with all that said, so much gratitude for you all for being here.